I'm Leigh LaRie.
And I'm Nick B.
Listen, we're just two single girls from the City of Roses discussing all things love, lust, and perception.
And roses are a symbol of all things beautiful about love.
But as you know, love can get a little dirty. So we're here to talk about it.
Dirty Roses Podcast starts now.
Hey, I'm Leigh LaRie, and welcome to Dirty Roses Podcast. Now, I know we talked about this all season so far, and as you notice, my co-host is not here. But that's because we've been focusing on health and taking care of ourselves and doing like what's best for us and our future selves. And so Nick B is currently taking care of herself. She's doing her gastric bypass revision, and she's been sharing her journey on social media to talk about how she got there, what she's doing to make sure she keeps herself active and doing her best, all of the best things for herself. By the time that this airs, your girl's gonna be outside. So we can't wait to see it. But make sure you follow her so you can see what she's doing on her journey. And you will see a guest co-host every now and then. But today I'm being joined by two amazing individuals who, one is very familiar. Y'all should know him. He's been on the show before. And I actually probably wear his clothes at least twice a season. So you should know who it is by just that announcement alone. But I'm being joined by the amazing, the astounding couple, Miss Kela Jones and David Jefferson. Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay.
Yep.
But as you know, David Jefferson, CEO, founder of Stacking Kickz, was on season 1, but he's been doing some amazing things since then. Definition of success. He's been doing some mentoring. You've been doing some speaking engagements. You've been going to the prisons. You've been going to the schools. You've been doing pop-ups. You've been doing adult mentorship around relationships and business. So all the things that he's been doing. We've got Miss Kela Jones, Say My Name in Cursive, which you can see here on the table here. Y'all check this out because it's bomb. It smells good. This is a cucumber, melon, strawberry scent. Fire, okay, but also Unlock with Key. But then together they have done this new thing that I'm so excited to talk about today. It is called Returning Blaque to Love, and we're gonna dive into that, but we're gonna catch up first. Okay. So how are y'all doing first?
Good.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, we honored.
Yes, David. Season 1, dating an entrepreneur.
Right.
You was very single.
I was.
You was very anti, I got no time for nobody but, elevating myself.
You said all that.
You might have said a few things. You might have said a few things that you was stunting on too, 5-star hotels, long walks on the beach, trips. That's how I date. Has it been the case? Look, she looked at him like,
That was a few years ago. We've been to the beach. That was a few years ago. We building purpose. I was a different man back then.
Okay. But I do want to ask you, like, the David Jefferson from our season 1, when you were single, talking about entrepreneurship and how you view dating. How is that different from David Jefferson now in a super healthy and amazing relationship? Have your views have changed? Or stay the same?
Yeah, I can't say they changed a lot. Ultimately, I got wiser for sure, right? But I haven't changed in a while when it comes to just my ideologies of self, of relationships.
Right.
And so I think back then it was just a matter of, making sure that I was in the space of preparation, right? That I was, that I'd done the work and that I was willing to stay open-minded. What I like to say, riding the fence, right? Protecting myself from, from further pain, but also making sure I'm simultaneously open to extraordinarily good circumstances. So that's a balance that most people don't have. So, it hasn't really changed a lot, but I have grown a lot, and I think my values probably changed a little bit since then, though, for sure. I know my spirituality got stronger.
Nice.
I know my sense of self got stronger. I know my boundaries got way stronger. Because you just, you gotta have a certain level of intention with how you move as an entrepreneur in a relationship space, especially when so many people are, trying to get your attention and you don't really know what they want.
Right.
And most of the time they don't know what they want. So you got to have something to block you out from that, and if you don't, you might get pulled in the Twilight Zone or something and drowned.
Dating around this area is definitely like the Twilight Zone. I can say that for sure. What has anything for you that was like a fundamental of how you dated? What was something that maybe shifted for you since then?
I think the main thing I know for sure shifted was I think true spirituality.
Okay.
You know, if anybody knows me, you know, I'm very spiritual. I'm always guided by energy, universe, law of attraction, God. But I didn't always expect that in a partner though. I expected of myself and thought that I can do it myself and be the only one in a relationship that's on a spiritual level, and it should be fine. And so I realized that, oh no, it don't work like that.
Right.
Both of y'all gotta be spiritually inclined. And I didn't realize, I thought I could handle it. I'm like, yeah, she can be crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like I can fix this.
Right.
It don't work that way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You fix stuff that's broke, and then sometimes you end up broken.
Right. What they say too, if you're going to be a crackhead, you got to date another crackhead because you can't date a sober person.
Right.
Yep. Because that sober person going to be like,
Right.
or they're going to backslide, whatever. But, okay, so Kela, for you, what was dating like before you met David?
I hadn't dated in a long time.
Oh, okay.
So I think it had been maybe 8 years.
Wow.
And so I spent a lot of time working on myself.
Gotcha.
Trying to figure out why I was attracting the people that I was attracting. And just
Say
spending
that.
time with me. I just wanted to know me more.
Got you. Okay. So you say that. So that's a big deal because people don't understand or take accountability for the fact that you're attracting because of who you are and how you haven't healed a certain aspects of your life. So what was that like for you as far as healing parts of you that may have been attracting the wrong kind of person?
Some of it was hard to see.
Okay.
I think to look at and say, okay, here's where I was being too open, or here's what was wrong with me.
Right.
You know, and so it wasn't a lot.
Okay.
But the wounds were really deep.
Gotcha.
You know, and so I don't know. It was a really, the journey was so long. I spent a lot of time with myself. So
Just talk about what was some of that healing like? What was that like dating yourself and working on you? What was that looking like?
So dating myself, I loved it.
Yeah.
You know, I was doing what I wanted to do, going where I want to go. You know, if I need male companionship, you know, I had a lot of good males around me, whether they were friends, family, or whoever. So you get the masculine energy. So you get that out your system. Right. So you don't have this need to date.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And so I just spent a lot of time reading, praying, studying different things.
I love it.
And then just doing stuff that I liked.
Yeah.
God was directing me, do things that you like, you know, and just spend time with you. And so
I love that. It
that's
sounds
what I
like
did.
both of y'all were in a space of becoming attractors rather than chasing, right? So because you're working on yourself, you're working on yourself spiritually and all those things, you stop chasing what you think you want and you start attracting what you actually need and who you have become. So since you guys have met, how has your energies or your the way that you view each other or view the world, has it changed now that you've come together?
Well, I definitely view him different because
Oh, hold on. Put a pin on my last question. Go tell me about that.
Right. And there we have it, folks.
And we started. No, go
so I used to see him online from time to time, but for me, I'm a person who gets online and I'll just, whatever comes on my feed is what I see.
Right.
And go looking for it. So I miss a lot.
Oh, gotcha.
So I would see him doing things and I would come and comment and, oh yeah, that's good. And that's one of them. I said, all you need is a she's stacking now.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
And I wasn't thinking about me at all.
Right.
And so it's just funny how years later, and now we're sitting here. So I see
love
him
it.
different because before I was looking at him like there's my classmate or old schoolmate.
Remember, we went to high school together. She didn't tell you that.
Oh yeah, we went to Grant together for a couple of
nice.
years.
Okay.
But
And
we
so-
weren't cool in high school.
We weren't.
We just knew
We weren't.
who each other
Gotcha.
were, but we never really talked.
I love
Yeah, we
She
weren't
passed,
enemies.
she passed on me. You know, like,
Yeah. So,
Damn.
but yeah, so just looking at him differently, seeing
Okay.
him, you know, as a man, as a partner. So it's really different. He's really intentional.
I love that. I love that. David, how have your view of each other changed or the world has changed now that you're with a partner now?
you know, I think for me, it definitely showed me a little more about myself, right? You know, because, you know, when you, and again, I've never really been a chaser. Like I've never been that type. Of course, I've dated, I've had girlfriends, but I'm not the chasing type. That's not my energy. But, you know, but in the end, it's like, of course, that's not too common, right? For a lot of men. Like, I know a lot of us chase, and some people make a whole life out of just finding something to chase today. You know what I'm saying? And so part of that is people thinking like, man, you know, like something wrong with you, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, or maybe you ain't capable, or maybe you know, it's just a bunch of stuff when a man got boundaries and standards he live by and don't just want anything, you know. And I think that, a part of that is you thinking, dang, is they right? You know, and really having to ask yourself, are they right about me? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, am I supposed to be single forever? Because I'm cool with that, right? If that's what God wanted,
right?
I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? And so I guess I didn't really know for sure what I was capable of. But however, you know, I did have my mind set on what I wanted, and I wasn't, you know, willing to barter with that. And if it wasn't, you know, what I saw it as in my mind, you know, then it wasn't something I was probably going to accept. And so I had to stick to those boundaries.
Gotcha.
So my point is, it showed me more about myself. I didn't realize, you know, I mean, I talked about these things, but now I have to show it, right? Because if that's not who I am, then my woman's gonna be like, yeah, he do all this talking, but this ain't really how he move. Man can't communicate with, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so now it's like I gotta really be held accountable for my philosophies and ideologies about communicating and relating. And now I gotta put it to the test. And this is the first time I had a chance to really walk the talk, you know. And she's set the road for me to be able to do that, you know, and allow me to do that, which has been super cool.
That's dope. So you guys knew each other in high school. You knew each other on social media, but where did the shift happen to where you're like, let's kick it? Like, who slid in whose DMs or who hit who up?
Wasn't me.
She slid in on me, man. Thirsty.
Well, let me drink too.
You drink to that. No. Again, I slid in the DMs.
Let me find out.
I know I said I don't chase, but under certain circumstances, I put on my cleats. But what happened was that I was just paying attention, you know. I've been doing a lot of work, you know. Even outside of dating, I wasn't able to stay in most relationships too long just because of my system. Right. And if somebody was outside of that, I didn't challenge that. That's the good thing about me. If you outside of my system of, I think, peace and alignment, and I no longer challenge it. Like I haven't done that since like 17 or 18 or something. So people, you know, they won't last that long. Right. So I still was single, you know, mostly, right? Yeah. And so I had a chance to spend a lot of time with myself. Again, had time to change my values, change my, my definition of a relationship. I had chances to make sure I strengthened and healed my perspective of what a woman is. Yeah. And then I kind of set my system up for only certain types of women. Gotcha. So like, you know what I mean? So anybody else was like, no, I'm good. You know, I'm not available, right? Right. Say that all the time. But for what I was available for, you know, I was paying attention, you know, we had bumped into each other even in Dallas. I think it was 2021, I want to say, we bumped into each other. And we was it was just a few Portland people, and you know, we know each other from high school. So when I see Kela, I'm like, that's my high school partner. That's all I know her as.
Especially if you're out of town, because you like Portland. Okay, we're gonna connect. Got you.
Yeah. So it didn't. We kicked it in Dallas, and it still didn't even click. We hung out. You know, we talked, we laughed, we joked, we reminisced about the town. It was a few different Portland people out there. Mannequin was out there. Yeah, that Kendall was out there. Okay. It was for I think the homegirl. I think her name is Carletta. Yeah, she had a grand opening in Dallas, Texas, where she used to live for 13 years.
Oh, dope. Okay.
And so, I started paying more. I started seeing her spirituality. The first thing I noticed about her was her spirituality, but I had to pay attention, you know, because she was very attractive, you know what I'm saying? And I was trying to see what her values was. Gotcha. Like, is it your attraction or is it your system of values and spirituality? And I at first I couldn't really tell. And, you know, what?
No, go ahead.
It's true. Okay.
She said it sounded like more like a you problem than a me problem.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's her problem, but I gotta be careful. She didn't do nothing wrong.
Basically, it was, were you attracted to her phically or were you attracted to her spiritually? Yeah. You had to decide.
Yeah, I had to decide what it was and shit. You know what I mean? But the point is, and I was just paying attention, and it's just. And I've seen her, I started paying attention to her communication. She started talking a lot. She was creating a lot of important conversations online, which I know I do often, regarding relations, regarding man and woman, she was going a little bit deeper and stuff. And then I was thinking, I was like, you know, and I had never looked at her like that really, but I was thinking that, like, we gotta, you know, like we gotta get together, you know, like not for anything other than just building, you know, because again, I'm a spiritual man. So if anybody knows me, I got friends that are female and male of all types, you know, females I'm cool with that I'm not even attracted to, you know, I just like good people. And so I just thought, I said, oh, this is good people. Like, and I thought she was, I figured we was from the same tribe, right? And that's why I thought about, I said, man, like we might be from the same tribe. And I'm like, I don't want to be thirsty though. And I don't want to like, so I was very hesitant, you know what I'm saying? But you know, it was an energy thing. And God was like, man, like, you know, just contact her and be honest. You know, I mean, I need you to, this is one of your people. And I didn't think that we would be compatible in any other way. You know, I thought we would just have long conversations and just build and talk about spirituality. That's mainly what I thought would happen, you know.
Okay, I need to know. Because your face is cracking me up right now.
I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth.
I'm telling the truth.
I'm telling your truth. I got you, Davey. We here. I want to know what the DM said, girl. What the DM say?
Yeah,
what did the DM say?
See, she's going to look right at me because she don't remember nothing, man.
No, because I'm trying to remember the exact words. I know he said something about...
The DM said that, listen, like, we have things to talk about.
I think we have something to talk about. We have some things to talk about.
Okay.
And I'm like,
that's the first thing I said.
Oh, that was slick.
Yeah, what do we have to talk about?
You're like, wait a minute, hold on.
It was just true, though. You know what I'm saying? Again, it was true.
Yeah.
We have some things to talk about, you know, and it was just it was a pull because I felt her energy. I was like, this is one of my people. And I was like, chances are, you know, us being compatible, that's probably slim to none, right? We all different people, so... And that had nothing to do with you. That was just in general, you know.
That's just
and so we, you know, and so when that happened, I was like, yeah, I think that we, you know, we got a lot in common. I see similar values. I think we should be cool. I think we should, you know, associate more, you know, and have more conversation.
Keep putting a whole lot of explanation on that. We should talk. So
and
go ahead.
And
I need to see.
She didn't respond for like almost like 3-4 hours. I was like, dang.
Did she read it though? Did you read it and then you left them on read?
Yeah, she read it and went to work.
I had to think about it. I think I was doing something or just.
And that's a hella random message. Okay, I was gonna say because if I got that, I'd be like,
she was trying to process it.
Yeah,
I believe it. So then, what were your next steps after that?
I reached out to him a little bit later, and I was like, okay, you know, what are we talking about?
She's like,
we just started talking.
That's what you said?
Like for hours and hours and hours.
Oh.
No, wait a minute.
Wait, he about to pull the DMs up right now.
You said,
I can't.
You said that makes sense. That's what you said. You said that makes sense. Look, she rubbing that knee. You know what happened when you rub that knee? You don't know what you don't remember nothing.
She's trying to spark that memory.
But she said, she
at some point I did say that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was like, that's cool. And I was like, may I have your phone number, please?
Is that what he said?
That was like a couple of days later when you asked for my phone number.
That's
because
not
we were messaging each other, and then you said, "May I have your phone number, please?"
That was the same day.
It was a very long conversation. I love it.
So that's what happened. So in other words,
no, I get it.
In other words, we, you know, I exchanged numbers with her.
And
we got on the phone and we talked for hours. I mean, 3-4 hours one night, 3-4 hours the next night, sometimes 5 hours.
Nice.
And so what we were doing was everything that people don't do when they get acquainted with somebody. We was going deep into the history, the pain, any trauma, the relationships, the upbringing, you know, the children, the experiences, God, the definitions, the dynamics of femininity and masculinity. We went into everything because we intentional, and I'm definitely intentional as a man. I don't leave nothing uncovered because I'm not playing with nobody no more.
Right.
Okay. You know what I'm saying? Look, you neither. but you know, and so we did that so much that when we finally got together for the first time, it's like we didn't have much to talk about. We just hit it off when we finally linked up. Met in Northeast. She had me on the dance floor, and it was like I never seen him dance before.
What?
And so jacket was off. Yeah, we did a lot of talking though. That's the main thing I want to emphasize: is how much we really unwrapped. We didn't just run to hanging out, run to kicking and run into body. We really wanted to make sure we knew who each other was.
Yeah, I find I know, like in talking to people, I find that men value like having that safe space to have a conversation where they're not going to be judged or things aren't going to be weaponized against them when they're having a deep conversation. Yes. Because a lot of times, an opinion may come out in a way that doesn't suit society's views of things, right. And then men just kind of hold on to that. So, and I know in season 1 we talked a lot about like the masculine feminine energy, and you're really big on how those balance out. So how do you view masculine feminine energy, and then how do you balance that out with him?
The way I view it is we all have both, and I think that when we have these conversations, you should be able to figure out where your person is. Right. Where you are before you guys even decide it's going to work. Because if it's too much, if you're imbalanced or you're too much masculine and he's this and you guys try to get together, it's just, So, but I do think that they balance each other. And so I think we balance each other well. Sometimes, like how you say with society, how they think things are supposed to go. Right. One thing he was saying all the time was, I like to lead. I'm a leader. For me, that made me a little bit like a leader. I'm my own person. I'm a free person.
Right,
like,
right.
That's just how I am.
Right.
And so, but I'm really quiet. I'm quiet for the most part. And so my subtleness and my calmness, that attracts somebody who likes to lead, right?
Makes sense.
So when we have maybe a disagreement or something, I can see still the masculinity. But what I like about him is he has a level of femininity to where he will say, well, what do you think about this? Or maybe I'll think about this again, or I'll look at it a different way, or there was missing information. Now I understand. But he always looks for the information before coming to a conclusion. Like something's missing here because we should be able to figure this out. Right. Right. Nobody's going anywhere. So we got to figure out a way to figure things out. Right. So I like that he listens. I do like that.
I love that. I love that. Have your views at all shifted on the roles
dynamics?
Yeah.
I don't think so, man. I think I definitely learned a lot more. One thing I have learned is the importance of men having a certain level of femininity, for a balance. I know she's big on balance, balances, and I don't think a lot of men understand that you do need a certain level of femininity to be comprehensive, right? And so I definitely have learned more about that, and some of the just some of the ideals behind it. But hold on now, okay. I said I like to lead in areas that I'm good at.
I was gonna say that next. I swear to God.
Okay.
I was about to say that because I just.
So I think the word lead. I think she didn't really like the word lead, but the point is, I said that people should lead. When I think about leadership roles in relationships, I think people should lead in areas that they're stronger in, to protect the relationship. Right. So if she drive better than I do, and then I can't be like, well, I'm a man, I should drive if I'm gonna drive us off a bridge, right? Right. And so, like, if I want to protect us, then I want her to drive. I don't want no ego trip because I'm the man. Right. And so, I know where I'm stronger at. I'm stronger in certain areas than she is, and there's certain areas that she's definitely stronger than me in, and I let her know, like, hey, you stronger here, so what we doing? And I think that's a great balance.
Right. I love that. Okay, so in what ways do you guys, because people are big on love languages, right? So in what ways do you each receive love from your partner, and then how do you show love to your partner in a way that they receive it? And is it difficult because it might not match?
Right. Receiving it, I feel like when I receive love, I feel like I'm being heard. I think one thing I've noticed, especially coming from an emotional aspect, with the feminine, is sometimes even if men are like that too, but I'm just saying in this case, it's hard to hear sometimes because you're going through a lot of emotion, and so it's hard to pull out the clarity in that because so many things are running through your head, right? And you want to get your point out so quick before you've actually heard, right, what the person's talking about. Right. And I think being heard is a great, somebody actually listening, hearing me, at least paraphrasing, And I think that's what makes people comfortable, right? No one's gonna keep arguing with you. They shouldn't unless they just crazy. But once they feel like, okay, you know how I feel. That's all I want to hear. Now let me know. Let me hear your point. So that's a language I like. And for her, I like to, one thing I always tell her, I like to be considerate, and I like to protect her. Sometimes she would, she think it's a little much at times, but I'm masculine. So,
I mean, in what ways does she need protection? I'm curious.
I think just, when, I'm masculine. So it's like a lot of times, like I calculate a lot of stuff, you know what I'm saying? So I think really far ahead. And so it ain't like she's doing nothing wrong, but I'm just foreseeing certain things. And I'm like, hey, maybe we should move this way because of this way down the line. And she's like, I can't even see that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So why are we even talking about this?
You think he's an overthinker?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's not necessarily that I can't see things. For me, it's you living your life versus, to me, one's fear-based or just love and protection. But either you can live your life projecting or worrying about what somebody's going to do down the line.
Gotcha.
But you have to do some of that to a degree,
right? To a degree,
Or you're going to live and know that God got you, right? Because he can't be with me 24 hours, 24/7. You know what I mean? So who's protecting me when he's not there? God, and myself and whoever else is around. So, but we've had some. He's very protective.
and the other thing, again, is consideration, and that's something that I'm intentional with. I feel like when you sign up for a relationship, a lot of people don't realize you signing up to make decisions for two people, whether they're there or not. And so I'm really good about whether she's there or not, making sure I know how things impact her. Right. And that I bring her in on a discussion or on the equation. I make sure she's cool with it. It's just doing my work to making sure she know like this is not just a me thing. Like I signed up to make sure that we both okay, not just me, or that we're okay with something. You know? And so that's one way that I protect her.
I love that. And in what ways do you receive and show love?
Receive and show. I like food. I like music.
Lemon pepper hots.
Sometimes he'll say, you haven't been dancing in a while. Let's go dancing. I love dancing. I love music. Consideration. I was just planning. Even the event. I was gonna host a different event prior to this one. He asked me, "What did you want to do?" And when I told him, he was just like, "Okay, whatever you decide, I'm gonna support you. But do you think that maybe we should do something together?" And then we sprout out into these other directions. Nice. And so just that support, the consideration, the thought, you know what I'm saying, the willingness to put himself out there and support me, and so I appreciate that. So that's definitely a love language of mine.
I love that. What because you guys are kind of like in the public eye, and more so because I know David, so I know like what he's gone through and things that he's experienced. So and I know the type of women who throw themselves at him because of his business and all the things, right? So how do you guys navigate being in the public eye with a relationship with somebody who typically was private with relationships before, and now you're being very public with it? And how do you kind of ward off the naysayers and the gossip and just Portland, culture?
You want to answer?
I don't think it's that hard. It hasn't been that much work to do that. I mean, typically, people don't. I mean, if anything's being said, is usually being said behind closed doors. Right. I'm a very strong man, and I mean, people know that I'll speak up. Like, I'll address you. Like, I'll ask you what's going on. And so I just feel like a lot of people don't want to deal with me having to address them directly. Right. And so even the people that might not like me, they never say it out loud typically, because I mean, they're not comfortable with with having to be the one who goes against me and whatever I'm gonna say. That behind that, so it don't happen as much, but I just really want to say that I don't like being public with relationships. I typically don't. I do feel like our community has been struggling with the respect and the honor for Black love, and there's been a lot of rumors about the fact that it don't exist and it can't be healthy, and
right.
you know, and they're dangerous dynamics, you know. And this is a moment where, you know, God said, you know, I need you to, I know you don't like being out there, but I need you to show this one, because people look up to you in every other way. Why can't they look up to you when it comes to the display of love, you know? And so that was important, you know, for me. That was really for my community. We don't really need to tell nobody nothing, but we do need them to see what it looks like,
right?
You know, so we can try to create more of the same.
Has there been any difficulty on your part as far as being in a public relationship per se?
Having your man being popular, you know what I'm saying? Everybody wants your man. Now
I don't really think so.
Man.
I think he does such a good job at consistently showing up and showing his loyalty and dedication. I don't really worry.
Yeah.
And then I'm just not. It hasn't been bad. I'll say that.
I love that.
He's kind of oblivious sometimes, but it hasn't been bad.
We've talked about that
it
so
flies
much.
over his head. You know,
Right.
somebody's right in his face. I'm like, and he was like, oh, I didn't even see you. It's like,
yeah, I didn't see nothing. I thought she wanted a shirt.
Right. Well, have you like for you? I know you said you haven't dated in a long time prior to this, but when you were dating, were you more public or private with your relationships?
I wasn't necessarily either.
Okay.
But it was one of those things where if we're out and we happen to take a picture and put it online, okay. But I'm not the person to just report every move, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, you know, I've been in a relationship where the guy was like, how come you don't post me? You know, and I'm like,
you're gonna embarrass me.
No, why do I need to?
There's almost like there's got to be a subconscious thing that happens, because you'd be like, you know, in your mind you'd be like, I just don't do this, but subconsciously you're like,
yeah,
maybe.
Yeah. And I think with him too, I think I kind of felt something like it wasn't gonna last.
Got you.
So.
Got you. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel it. How do you, with you and your own businesses, because you have the Say My Name in Cursive, and then you have the Unlock with Keys. So how do you maintain your individuality, and how do you manage your businesses, you know, when you're with a person who also is an entrepreneur?
It gets busy. I'll tell you that. But the stages that they're both in, like moving here from Dallas and then having to kind of repackage things and, you know, start up certain things.
Right.
It hasn't been tough, but keeping my individuality, I would say My Name in Cursive has almost been fused with Returning Black to Love. I see so much of it showing up there.
Got you.
But that's because it's love-based.
Right.
And so, of course, a lot of those principles are going to go into that.
Gotcha.
But this is solely focused on the divine feminine.
Right.
And through healing that aspect in all of us, you know, that'll consequently heal the male as well. You know, the divine masculine. So just keeping it in mind. But the parts that do intertwine, it works.
Yeah.
You know, it's less work to do.
Okay, and talk about your businesses. While we're on the subject, talk about your businesses. What is it that you do, and how can people like understand what it's about? Because you say that it's about healing and the divine feminine. So what does that look like for your business, and what is it?
So it's a space I provide events and products.
Okay.
That cultivate and celebrate the divine feminine.
Okay.
And so what that looks like is like this event that we're doing right now, Returning Black to Love. You'll have a space, love-induced music, all things feminine in there, you know. Everything is just love-based, but it's about celebrating different aspects of different feminine, maybe goddesses or leaders in the past, or just regular women, you know, everyday women.
Right.
Pulling from those women and celebrating those qualities.
Yes.
And then hoping that people can see that within themselves. Because I feel like that's what God gave me during COVID, was this name, Say My Name in Cursive. What am I doing with this? You know? And so it all made sense after a while.
I love that. I love that. For you, David, like for your businesses and everything, because you are now collaborating, you know, with your partner, how do you maintain what you do while still supporting what she's got going on and what you guys are working on together?
You know, I just I do my best to try to compartmentalize stuff, I guess. You know what I mean? Like And it ain't been easy though, you know what I'm saying? And so sometimes I have to realize when, you putting less energy over here, you know, and I have to revive that, you know, because that's one thing that happens in relationships. Sometimes you lose your sense of individuality and what you were building before it happened, you know, and I got to be careful of that, right? And so, you know, I think there's just, there's time and there's energy just dedicated to each. Typically when we not together, I'm mostly focusing on, you know, stacking and, you know, my writing, my speaking and things like that. And she does, you know, when I'm doing that, then, you know, she's doing the Say My Name in Kursive and working on the Unlocked and, you know, the body butters and things like that. And then when we together, then we powwow, you know. Now we back talking about Return Black to Love.
Right.
And, you know, we going over ideas, you know, we sending each other podcast interviews and, you know, we just doing research and, you know, she's like, did you see this? she'll see something on Facebook. Did you see this? I'm like, let's process that.
I'm sending you the screenshot.
Listen.
So we process everything and she always want to know. She always want to know what I think about something, if I've seen something, and sometimes I do the same thing as well because I think we just feed off each other a lot, and we trust each other's judgment, you know, and we trust the fact that we humble enough to know that sometimes there's things that she's gonna see that I can't, and then I'm gonna see some things that she can't, and we like to bring those things together and make a full picture.
Right. Now, I remember one thing you said during season 1 when you were on the show was that your business tends to suffer when you're in a relationship, and I personally have noticed that you have shifted a lot of your efforts into like the motivational pieces and the working with people, and really like I think that because you've done a lot of work with yourself that you're now kind of sharing that out. So do you feel like that thought that you had back in season 1 where your business would suffer if you're in a relationship, has that changed, or is it more that you just decided to move into a different direction?
I think it's both in this case. It's both. I really do want to move in a different direction because I've grown so much. And so I have to consistently kind of process the idea of what I want to do with stacking. Okay. But it's like, stack has been so monumental. It's like, it's hard to really justify doing anything outside of continuing to build it. Right. You know, but definitely in a relationship. And I don't know if it's been so much as me as it has been just, you know, I think women realizing that whatever dream they had is gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that sounds weird, but I know that sounds weird, but it's like a lot of women that used to support me, they don't no more.
Listen, you know I bet you your sales went down when that shoe picture came out, because I think that was the first time that I noticed that you had posted her when y'all had posted the shoes together, and I was like, I know I was like, David done found somebody. I said, what the? I said, and then the next picture was y'all together and y'all were going somewhere. So I was like, oh, shizzy. So have you noticed that your sales with women have gone down since?
100%. Oh, definitely. They went down. And that's what we go through. You don't know it's real until it happens. Right. But it's like, in my mind, I gotta be okay with that, because if you don't support me because I'm in a relationship, then you never did support me. You would support me under certain terms.
I mean, you did say if you're trying to date me, you got to kind of trick me into it by buying some stuff and support my business. So I'm just, we can go back to footage.
No. At the minimum, I can't even see you if you don't buy nothing. She bought one thing, ain't bought nothing since I came back home. But the point.
I bought 2 things.
Listen, there we go.
But I mean, I'm not saying that's gonna work, but I'm saying saying at least I can. I mean,
y'all should have bought what I bought.
Listen, there we go. Y'all fumbled that.
But I'm not worried about it. But I got a bigger purpose, and the people gonna rock with me. They're gonna just keep rocking. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna keep leveling up. The brand. And we want people who really love us for the brand, and not some dream in heaven that they got with me land on a bunch of clouds with no shirt on. So.
God. Well, what is that? Where'd that visual come from? I feel like that was very specific.
I'm just off the top.
There must have been like a DM somewhere like, I imagine you.
But I've never supported a woman just because I thought she, would give me some of her personal time. I've never done that before.
Listen, the amount of fake meetings that I have had because somebody thought that it was going to be a date.
And I know it really happens.
It does. It's crazy. It's like I get invited onto, like, they'll be like, oh, because I really be about my business. Like, I have a lot of stuff stuff going on, and I'll get a call like, oh yeah, I'm doing this project. I really want to meet with you. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's set up a meeting. Here's my Calendly link. I go and show up like, you want to drink? I'm like, I don't drink on my work meetings. What's happening? And then it'd be like, my partner can't make it. I'm like, oh, this is what we're doing today. Got it. I don't like it. The setup. The setup is real. Oh my goodness. What is one like really strong relationship boundary that you guys have set that you think really helps you all in your relationship as well as your work relationship that you think is like a foundational boundary that people should set?
Not to go against whatever your moral compass is. Don't betray yourself. Those are the things that, that kind of, that's it for me in every arena.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
And I feel like, there's been a couple we've talked about, man. Jesus. But I think one thing we don't do is, we don't scream and yell at each other. You know what I mean? Like, we have had tough conversations because we both can communicate. But we don't scream, we don't yell, we don't slam doors. We never called each other names or none of that. You know what I mean? And that's part of it. And we do have a problem resolution boundary. I think at the minimum, we can hold off and talk about something later if we really want to.
Gotcha.
But like we don't go overboard with each other to where we have to apologize about something.
Gotcha. Are you more of like an in the moment have a discussion when something happens, or are you like a processor?
I'm in the moment. She's a processor.
Oh, how do you guys navigate that?
How do we navigate it? I think
I'm looking at him.
So I think the thing is this. I like to talk about things because I'm just quick, and I can go deep fast.
You like to talk?
Yeah. Because you can't. But you can't really move on without talking, because even if you try to, you're gonna continue to think about what's going on.
No, that's
so it throws your energy off. So my thing was, I'm cool if she say, hey, I'm not in the energy to talk about that right now, but I do want to talk to you tomorrow, if that's okay. And then I'm like, okay, well that makes sense. Because now, but if you just don't say nothing, and then I'm gonna be like, well, is we talking or no? You know what I'm saying? And then she, and we got to get to that point. As long as you got an understanding, I think it's cool. I don't think nobody should be forced to talk right now.
Right.
As long as they let you know, hey, this ain't a good time.
Gotcha.
And the other person need to respect that for sure.
Okay.
But I've learned with him though to hold on, don't say nothing till you process. Like don't let him know you're processing, because he be looking like, wait, something we got to say.
Yeah, I like that too. And that's one good
so
thing.
I don't say nothing.
Right.
I just wait, and then after I process, then I.
Gotcha.
You know what, babe? I was thinking about yesterday or the other day when
right, and I don't even know she processing, right?
Yeah.
So he don't know, because I don't treat him no
cool
different. I
with
don't act no different.
Gotcha.
And so the thing is, most people, when they processing, but they don't tell you, they treat you differently.
Right.
Their energy's low.
Right.
You're like, what's going on?
Right.
But she the same person, even though she processing, and I don't know it. And then boom, I want to talk to you about this.
Were you always like that, or did it take you some time to get to be that person?
No, I'm pretty much like that.
Okay.
Soft. Some softness there.
Yeah. It's almost, I feel like that's almost kind of masculine too, in a way, like energy, because you're logical with how you approach something. So that makes sense. And that, I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Take notes, y'all. Take notes. Process without changing how you act towards people.
Yeah, and that's hard to do.
That is very hard, especially because I think most of the time it's like people know they done fucked up, they done did something, and now they're like, okay, I gotta talk about this right now because it's something I know you're mad about it. I know you mad because if I know you, then I know you mad. But if you keep like that, no, we good. We'll talk about it later. We're good. No big deal. That's a very strong practice.
Right.
And I think it takes a lot of practice. So it's probably better that you've been like that your whole time, because I know people that are like,
they start slamming doors.
Listen, stomping, pouting, that lip come out. All the things. So, how did you guys come up with the idea of Return Blaque to Love?
The idea. Ooh, that's tough. I know she came up with the name though, which was powerful. But I think we probably came up with the idea because we were going back and forth. Let's be real, okay? It's a good reel though, right? So take your hand off this. I'll put it back right here, okay? Like we don't need. Come back up a little bit. Act like we know each other. And so we went public. Why did we go public? I don't really know. She went public first.
No, I did not. You.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, we went public. We felt like we were in alignment, our values aligned, like the right things aligned with what we stand for. Gotcha. Right. And it was a great thing. What we were happy, but what we didn't know was how inspiring that would be for other people. Okay. So we didn't realize the impact we would have on other people in the community especially a man like me who they never really seen with anybody, right. And most of her friends never seen her with really anybody publicly. So it was different for my friends and her friends and everybody that knows each of us separately, right. And the people that know us both. Right. And the thing that we heard the most was, man, that make perfect sense. Same thing she said when I got in that DM. Oh. So the point is, you did say that. So the point is, I think we was thrown off and surprised by how much it inspired people. We didn't realize that was going to happen. From that feeling, that let me know that, God got a purpose for us, right? If we're moving people like this already, we haven't even really tried. How else can we move community with what we're building? How can we create, how can we create a platform to show them even more about what we're doing and talk about it more and make it normal and make it popular and then show the beauty in it, right. And then show how you maneuver through it, right? And that's what we were talking about because we wanted to do our own events, kind of, you know what I'm saying? And I was going to support her. Help her get acclimated back out here because she only been back less than a year. What I'm saying? Okay. And using my platform to support my lady. And essentially, I was like, we might want to just do something together because we share values. And she was like, I don't know. I got my own thing going on. I don't really be doing stuff with people like that now. Okay. I need to think about it. Let me call you back. I was like, all right. Okay. And then it came out, and we talked about it. She's like, yeah, I think we should, and we start recording. We start doing a couple of little podcast things together.
Because you had like the divine dynamics.
Divine dynamics,
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's kind of how it happens. We was processing, and then she was like, I got an idea, return Black to love. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's perfect, And of course, she spelled Black with the Q because everything she writes got a different letter in it. Like if she write time, it's Tyme. There's no I anywhere. T-Y-M. Oh, T-Y-M. No E either. Yeah. And so that's why that came. She's a free
spirit. That's on par.
And that's one of the things I like about it because I know when she's writing me. But the thing is, that's where that came from, gotcha. And we realized that we may have had a bigger purpose together than just being together, and that we could maybe impact more lives by showing how this works because this is something that they say don't exist.
Gotcha. And I love that. So I know you and I had a conversation because I was like, "What is it? Like, is it a play? Is it a panel? Is it what's happening? Are you gonna get on stage and start acting?" Like I wasn't quite sure what's happening.
Right.
And so for those who don't know, and this is Portland based, y'all, but for those of y'all don't know, what is this Return Black to Love series that's happening?
So it's a 7-part series, and then at the end we're gonna have a Black Love Ball. Ooh. But the point of it all is to return back. When we say returning Black to love, we want to revive Black love. Okay. We want to keep it going. Like I told him, in my mind, it's almost like an endangered species in some areas. And so you have to treat it as such. You got to give it the environment it needs. You have to protect it. You got to feed it. Right. You just got to treat it like it's fragile. It's like a Furby. And just grow it. And so that's what the series is designed to do. Break down different things that we go through and then show healthy ways of solving it. Gotcha. And then even offer different ways that we may have loved in the past. So we're going to go back and look at different things that we did in our different cultures. Like some cultures, they have a ritual when you get together with somebody where somebody comes and they bless everything. Right. And everybody comes, just simple stuff like that. Okay. And then they continue to do that year by year. The relationship belongs to the community because what is the community made up of? Couples and facts, individuals. Right. And so we want to make sure everybody's healthy. Right. And feeling love and giving love.
So. I love that.
And so what we mean by 7 parts is that this is just the intro, and there's going to be a part that's going to come about every few months. Each part is going to consist of another different play and another panel, right? Right. So it's not really just, per se relationship love. Is kind of about Black community, love each other. So there's going to be a Black education aspect of it. You know, there's probably going to be a Black mental health aspect of it. You know, a Black business aspect of it. You know, all these different things going to have their own separate play, and we're going to continue to do it until this becomes normal. And so part of my reason was thinking about me being a mentor for so long and doing a lot of speaking. I'm at schools, I'm at, you know, prisons, I'm everywhere doing what I do. And when I look back at it, I thought about, and you know, again, not you, but I'm just saying, like when I take a look back at some of the parents of the kids that I mentored, and I see where the discrepancy is. Right. And it made me feel like I'm trying to repair a tree at the leaves instead of the roots. So how can we turn the love back to the roots? Right. Right. And help parents, you know, and anybody in the community understand what their role could be in strengthening this community. Right. You know, because everybody got a role they can play. And when people leave this event, we want them to have a call to action of what we all can do, right? Yeah. Everybody can't be a mentor or a coach or a leader or a speaker, but at the very minimum, you can represent a healthy adult online and offline. You can promote and push love and do your best to make that part normal in your home in all the areas that you visit. Right. And so that's the main goal overall, is to restore it by making sure everybody know they got a role. Sometimes people think that they don't have. It's just, let me put him in a program and it's gonna fix. But we all gotta do something. So that's also an aspect of returning Black to love. Because if we was doing more of that, we'd probably have to do less prison speakings and you know, less.
I love that you're saying that though, because like a lot of the programs that are out there, while they're really great and amazing, they do amazing work. It's always like a Band-Aid, and it's fixing like you said, like the outer part of the problem, where we're not. When we fix the problem when the child or the person or the adult's in the program and they go back to their environment and they're going back to a broken environment or a space that hasn't been healed, or we're dealing with generational traumas and things that we're pushing on to the next person. So I love that you're saying it from the root up, right? The event itself though, like what would somebody expect at the event? Like how does that look like? What's the event look like?
What they're going to expect is they're going to come in, get registered. People gonna have an hour to, you know, we having it catered. We got Abbey Creek wine complimentary.
Shout out to Bertoni.
Right. Shout out to Bertoni, Austin. We're gonna probably start around 7:30. Okay. Me and Kela gonna get a chance to do a quick intro, help people understand what this event is about, why we're here, what the goal and purpose of. And then we're going to introduce the play, right, which is Abibat Durasimi and my guy Latevin Alexander.
Yes,
you know him.
I know both of them. I love them.
And, you know, they're some beasts.
Yes.
And so what they're going to do is they're going to do four different scenarios in the same scene. Okay. And they're going to show the crowd different ways to resolution, right? Because my goal is to put all the things I talk about into physical form so they can see what it looks like. Right. Sometimes talking don't work, and preaching and writing don't always work. I want to see if I can show them the resolution that we normally do, and sometimes what some people do and what we could do, so they can see the difference. Gotcha. And so that's going to happen. And then we're going to take a quick shift, and then we're going to bring the panelists on the stage. Okay. I'm on the stage as a panelist. Kela's on the stage as a panelist, Marte Brown, and the amazing Jasmine Smith, and it's going to be moderated by Lakiana. Okay. And so we got the powerhouses there, so we want this to have a lot of impact, and then we want to all get a couple questions in and address our role in the community and what we do, and we want to have we want to leave time for a Q&A for at least half an hour, because they're gonna have questions. Gotcha. We got a raffle that we giving out that we calling that right around the end. Okay. And this is right before we start mingling, right? And so we got 3 different prizes for the raffles that people can win. Nice. One is a seaside basket with a seaside hotel and dinner. Okay. And then the second one is a Vancouver waterfront hotel and dinner. All right. And the third one is Portland Center Stage event and dinner downtown Portland.
So basically, you got some 3 like events where you can go experience love.
Yeah, a little bit.
I feel you. I like that.
You can take your grandma or somebody if you're single. And then
come on, Mima.
And then what we want people to mingle, right? Because we want people to come and talk to us. We want people to come tell us how they feel. We're gonna have people in the our volunteers are gonna ask questions about the event on camera.
Okay.
Peak beanie shooting. And what else? And then we'll be having signups for people we'll have a QR code. We're giving out the programs. That's gonna have a QR code on there.
Okay.
So people can start to sign up and figure out where we're doing the next event and when, so people can be a part of the revolution. Nice. So if that makes sense, yeah.
Will it always be at the
It may not be always at Portland Center Stage.
Okay.
November 8th, Portland Center Stage.
Listen. So by the time that this airs, it will have already taken place.
Right.
But you will be doing since it's a 7-part series.
Yeah, this is just the intro.
Right.
So we got 7 more after this.
So I love that. So did you guys sit down and write the play and all the scenarios together? Do you have someone that's helping you write the play?
Yeah.
How's that work?
I was kind of writing most of the play. Kela backed me up, and she implemented things that I missed, and helped me sort of design it.
Put a Y.
Yeah, she helped me. She helped me, and when something wasn't right, she'd propose a shift in something. But I spent a lot of time writing it and getting it done. Okay. You know what I'm saying, with her support on the back end for sure.
Gotcha. And so with this event happening and how you guys are kind of fusing both of your thoughts and your mindsets into what Black love looks like, what is your, I guess outside of just the 7-part series, what is your action items that you guys are contributing to how to keep this going? How did are you gonna just do the events? Are you guys gonna be mentoring? Are you gonna be taking clients and here, let's do some therapy? What's that look like?
So I think you briefly mentioned we are going to be doing classes, so people can take part.
I think I missed
It'll be twice a month.
Gotcha.
One for women and one for men.
Beautiful. Okay.
And then, like I said, mine is already say my name in cursive and the unlock with key. All those, everything is pouring into making us better, getting us where we got to get to.
Yeah, we're both going to do groups in between time. So the real plan for this is for it to never stop.
Right.
Right. Never. Mm-hmm. So even when the 7-part series is up, we're gonna start another 7-part series.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. And in between the series, she gonna have her Unlock with Key group, and I'm gonna have my Bridge of the Guys men's group.
Oh, nice.
Right.
Okay.
And then essentially I'm gonna get back to the definition of success.
Right.
Kids group.
Gotcha.
And so this is never gonna stop, because we can't just do an event. We're in a state of emergency right now, and what we need is consistency more than anything.
You're gonna rip this Band-Aid off. You got to keep healing the process for everybody. You can't just
100%.
Yeah, I love that. What who do you envision working with in the future as far as potential actors? How big do you want to take this? Is it going to be on a big screen? Are we going that far? Are we traveling with it? How are we doing this?
I see it going far.
Yeah.
Very far.
Yeah.
I know there's some speakers I would like to connect with.
Oh, we didn't talk about the speaker event at the end.
Didn't?
At the end, yeah.
But at the very end, yeah.
After the 7-part series is over. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna try to bring down Jason Wilson.
Oh, nice. The guy you were telling me about.
And we want to bring him, and then we want to bring him back with Joy.
Nice.
Hopefully. So, and do just a full conference with.
Yeah.
Joy or April, kind of teetering between April Mason. I don't know. If she is trying to maybe get on her radar.
I love it. I love it.
Or Dr. Umar. No, I'm kidding. Okay, never mind.
Bring him to Portland. It's gonna be a whole lot of mad interracial couples.
Right,
so you guys have your own individual businesses. You guys have this thing together. What has been your biggest professional win and then your biggest relationship win?
That's a good one.
Professional win? I think this event is a win, honestly. This is a dream come true. I've always wanted to write a play. I've always wanted to, to share this information and create this experience, and and always wanting to be a part of just change and and growth in the community. Like, this is what I dreamed I would do, you know, something like this. But the play is huge for me because I've always wanted the right one. And having the opportunity now to do it and knowing people are coming to watch it, you know, is a huge, and having professional actors and actresses, that's huge for me, you know. And then I think, you know, same for you, or
professionally,
because you've always wanted to do
thing.
This is what she came into Portland to do.
I love that.
Do a little damage.
Yeah, I got you.
You know, good damage.
That part.
I think relationship wise, I think the biggest win for me, because you asked relationship to personal, right?
Yeah.
I think not running. I'm not necessarily a runner, but I'm like him. Like if something is, I'm like, you know, so even though I hadn't been dating over those years, you know, there were attempts. And it's like where people are trying to get at me, and it's like, I don't really like the way this is feeling. I'm bored now. Or it's not adding up. I'm gone. So I think that's been a huge thing for me.
I love that.
You know, I haven't ran.
I mean, really, it's like it's like the two most difficult people got together and stayed.
Like it works.
You know what I'm saying? And like we're extremely difficult with everybody else. You know what I mean? And so to see that happen, that's also a miracle for sure.
Yeah.
You know?
What would you tell somebody who, not necessarily like a runner, but like we get so focused on the inner peace, like you don't disrupt my peace, right? How do you differentiate, and what would you tell somebody what is self-sabotage versus protecting your peace?
I would say get to know you and be okay with you. And then don't pretend that every situation something somebody else did and they're disturbing your peace, when really you just haven't dealt with that aspect of yourself.
Got you.
You know, everybody can't be everybody else all the time.
Okay.
You know, so you gotta clean your energy up so you can attract and see different.
Right.
You know.
And then have boundaries against things that aren't it. Some people don't have that. And so, but one thing I know about the average person is that I said a little bit earlier about being on the fence.
Yeah.
Most people are either on one side or the other. You know, either they date whoever or they're too scared to date anybody.
Right.
Right. Come on, we speaking the truth.
Right.
And so I found that, you know, like I said, I found the balance probably both of us, but especially me, to really, really learn how to perfect being on the fence so I can see both sides. Okay. Right. And so now I have a way to protect myself from things that come to disturb my peace that are out of alignment, because I know self, right? But also I'm open-minded to things that are extraordinarily good circumstances, because I'm not in pain no more, and I'm not looking for defeat.
Right.
So I'm on the fence, and now I'm able to take a look at both and make a conscious decision, as opposed to being all the way on one side and can't see the other, or being on all the other side and can't see the other. And that's where most people are. Everybody needs to find a way to be on the fence and be able to see both sides. To do that, you have to heal and do a lot of self-work, and you have to have proper values, proper standards, and proper boundaries.
Gotcha. That's the first time I've heard someone say being on the fence is a good thing. So that's a good
when you look at it that way.
Right, yeah, that makes sense. And being in alignment means that you don't get knocked over on the other side. So that makes sense.
Right.
What is, with this series that you got going on, what is the biggest myth in Black love?
The biggest myth.
Jesus Christ, so many myths they got. The biggest one?
Right.
The most detrimental one, aside from it doesn't exist.
I feel like the biggest myth is that I think Black women only want you for what you have.
Okay.
You know,
Huge myth.
You know, and men don't know how to provide or don't care about providing. You know, on the other side, right? There's some men who do care about protection and provision.
Yeah.
You know, and leadership. And there are some women who don't just want you because of what you have, and a lot of men think that.
Right.
You know, and I think that's probably a myth, right? And when people go into that. And I think that's where their judgment comes of the opposite sex, you know, and this is why they stay away, because they think they're all like that.
Right.
You know, and I think that's where people got to find some
Generalization is a killer.
truth. What are you going to say?
I'm
I
still,
see you looking
I'm still thinking the biggest one. I'm still thinking about. It's just so many.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So many. I just.
But I mean,
when I read all the things, it's like, why would you think that one thing?
Yeah.
It can just explain a whole gender of people.
That part. Yeah.
And so when I heard recently, I'll say this, on Black Portland, this girl said something to the effect that she met a guy and he was saying that she wasn't dateable or something like that because she had kids.
Oh yeah, I get that all the time.
Yeah, and so that was really weird to me. And she was like, "Well, is this why men are all men like this in Portland? This is why the dating pool is like how it is." And I get tired of the word dating pool, tired of the word toxic, tired of the word narcissist, tired of the
trending words.
There's just so many trending words, but.
Right.
Yeah,
but that's a big deal. I think that's one of the biggest myths. One of them is that if you have children or if you're of a certain age, you're no longer dateable. And as you get older, it's like wine.
Yeah.
What does wine do as it gets older? It gets better.
Right. It gets better.
It should, right? Yeah.
Right.
So that's a huge myth to me.
Yeah.
And then even the kids are considered blessings.
Right.
So how are blessings something that? And if a woman can handle them, if a man comes in and adds to, or the other way around, it should be better. You shouldn't be fearing that or saying you're not dateable.
Right.
So I think those are myths, big ones for me.
I went on a live dating thing one time, and where I was kind of just like, I was just experimenting. So I was like, okay, I go on this little live, and this lady asked me questions, whatever. But I tell the story early in the season, but another person a guy had went on there, and he was divorced, had kids, everything, and it was like the feedback was great. Like, oh, this man, he's single, he's a father, he's divorced, he's looking for love. Oh, he's a good man. I got on there single, divorced, with kids. You should have just stayed with your husband. Oh, he left you. Why? Well, and it was a totally different dynamic. And I was like, oh, A, never doing this again. B, why is it okay for a man to be one thing and the woman to be the same thing, and it's treated totally different? Not to mention, it's like, why is a woman damaged for being in that position, and the man is looked as like he's put on a pedestal for the same thing?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I always find it to be weird, but those generalizations.
I still think it comes down to values. That's why we have to have updated value systems at people, because I think that's a flawed value, and I think values need to be deeper than that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Facts. Because ultimately, I mean, whether if she could not have kids and still drive you to the crazy home, like that don't mean nothing. You know what I'm saying? So we got to have better values on what we stand on, and if kids come with that and they in alignment with the values, then the kids come with that, but the goal is to make sure that the values is on point.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. What kind of advice would you give to somebody who is either newly in a relationship looking for love, like how to find essentially what y'all got?
Personally, I would tell them to look at their goals. What are your future goals? Okay. What are your strengths, weaknesses? Compare them to theirs. They should have a list. I had a list, before. I had it written everywhere. Be quiet. I showed him maybe a couple of my lists, because I had them everywhere in all different books. Here's what, thank you God for And so, but I think you need to focus more on what you do want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Versus what you don't want.
Yeah.
Because there's a difference in saying, I don't want to date a liar, and saying, I want a man who tells the truth. I want someone who's honest. That feels better, right?
Right.
And then saying, I don't want a cheater. I want a man that's loyal, And so to make that list, of the attributes that you want, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
And don't compromise. Make for sure you're not silencing your gut when you're getting to know this person. When you start seeing things and feeling things, that's for a reason. So you have to make note of that.
Right.
I would even make note of where you're feeling it at. Where in my body do I feel this feeling when this person does XYZ?
Right.
All those things matter.
Yeah.
So if you want something real, you have to be real with yourself and that other person. So some things might be uncomfortable, but go ahead and talk about it.
I love
Don't
that.
stop talking.
Yeah, and what and specifically for the men, I mean, one thing I think that bothers me about a lot of my partners who be coming with advice or looking for advice is like, they need to learn how to be single first. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I want to see men need to understand the importance of independence and understand the importance of having time to reflect, and men need a space away from the world for a moment so that they can process who they are and what they're doing, and that's where they find God, and they have this conversation with God in that space, and God's like, this is who you are. Anything outside of that is not you, you know. And then your boundaries are starting to get set, and then your values are starting to set. And so my issue is that these guys, they keep dating, right? They keep dating, they keep moving in. Like some of them have never like had their own space before. They don't know what it's like to. A man needs to, you know, like if I didn't have space, if I always under a woman or under somebody, I wouldn't really know fully who I am.
Right.
I wouldn't. There's no way I would have been prepared for a relationship. Because I would have, you know, got with Kela and I would have asked her to help me find myself. And she'd have been like, shh. Like, she'd have rubbed her knees like,
right. Like, oh, that's one of them things that I said nope to.
You know,
right.
You know, and so men, you know, I mean, you know, you really, and once you find yourself, it's an easy system after that. And now your system is structured to your truth. So men need to be able to locate their truth, and they got to create a life around their truth, and everything that they do and say, and it's got to be parallel with that, and then you can attract, right, and then the right people can see you, you know, and so that's one thing that I would always say. I'm gonna just speak for men. I mean, I'm not gonna speak for women, but just for men. I mean, I really want them to understand what it's like to be alone and take care of yourself just for a moment, not for life, but just so you can sit with yourself and update and strengthen who you are and your system. And then when you go out into a system, you recognize women easier. You recognize the differences in them. The reason why you think they're all the same, because you haven't had space away from any of them. Right? And so that's the problem that men are having. They think getting up under another one is the next move, but in the end, it still keeps you confused, because if you don't know who you are, you don't know who they are.
Yep. Taking your same self into it, it's a different environment. It's going to yield the same results.
Yeah. And so, we need space. We need some space to process and figure out exactly what we're doing. Yeah. And a man, I do believe a man needs to find purpose and purpose first, principles, you know what I'm saying? And then you align your woman with that. This is the first time I actually, you know, and again, I've been through it too, right? So I'm not saying it like, I've been always had it together. No, I've dated outside of my energy structure a couple times, and it never makes sense, right? You know, and then I was like, okay, cool. I'm taking that out of the formula, and now I'm only allowed to date this type of person, and that's just the way it is. And if it's not that, then it's nothing, right? And so I had no problem saying no, or like dating a woman for maybe a few months, like, nah, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like, simple. I don't feel bad about it. Like, somebody got to protect me too.
Yeah. And people are entitled to say no. Like, you're entitled to say, this ain't working for her. Shut up.
I'm good. Yeah. Because the thing was at stake, your mental health is at stake. Your peace is at stake.
No, that's
you know what I'm saying? Your woman and your man is a big part of where your peace is.
I think people get a sense of entitlement when you are like, okay, I've accepted your pursuit, and now somehow people feel like you're obligated to stay in that, and you can say like, no, I realize that this just ain't for me, and it's okay to say that, and it's okay to say no. So I love that. Where can people find you individually, for your businesses, for mentorship, for healing, for whatever it is that y'all do? Like, where can they find you? Social media, websites, all the things.
First, you got the longer list.
Lord have mercy.
all right. I'm at Stacking Kickz, man, on Instagram. That's Stackin, no G, Kickz with a Z, no S at the end. I'm also at IG and Mr. David Jefferson. That's my real name. Oh, we also have Return Black to Love PDX, don't we? That would be RBTL PDX at Instagram. And then, you know, Stacking Kickz on Facebook, David Jefferson.
Okay. And where's your store located?
At the Lloyd Center Mall. Depending on when this come out, I might be at Clackamas.
Hey. I love it. Okay.
So you can find me on IG at Say My Name in Cursive. Okay. Cursive with a K. Or Brown Sugar, but no, don't worry about that page. Say My Name in Cursive. Right. Also, InnerG Elements, and that's INNERG, and then Elements. Love it. That's on IG as well, and on Facebook, it's Say My Name in Cursive and the InnerG Elements.
Beautiful.
Where can they get those at?
I was gonna say
the Body Butters, and I'm gonna have other things. So you can get those.
Those are Stacking Kickz right now.
Yes, those are at Stacking Kickz headquarters in the Lloyd Center.
I'm tripping.
Or, you can contact me on in either of the pages and get them. I get my store.
I love it. I love it. Oh, I see a Stacking Kickz and say my name in cursive, like side by side type of thing happening.
Oh yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
No, she's like, no, I need my space. She's like, I love it. I love it. Well, you can find my co-host who isn't here, but you can follow her health journey right now. It's @NickB_Nick B. That's Nick with the K. I'm also going to highlight my guest co-host of the season who is here for a few of the episodes. She's got the Milani vegan hair care products, and we're doing a feature every episode. So this right here is the Soothe conditioner. It is like a tea tree peppermint oil type feel. It's tingles. It gives all the stuff that if you have dry scalp and all the things, and it feels balm on your hair. It detangles, it smooths, it does all the things. But you can find this at milanibeauty.com, and if you use the code Leigh LEIGH, you get a little bit of extra discount. A courtesy of me. Thank you. I'm not paying for it, but you get a discount. And then you can also find her at Instagram, Milani by Shadowbox. But other than that, you can find me everywhere, Leigh LaRie, LEIGH on all social media platforms, as well as Dirty Roses Podcast and dirtyrosespodcast.com. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, and do all those things. Share it with your friends, and make sure that you catch us next time. We'll see you then. Thanks.
Guess what, Rose Buddies? We are thrilled to introduce our new sponsorship packages. Be sure to hit us up at dirtyrosespodcast.com to inquire how we can showcase your brand on our platforms.